welcome back to another video. This is episode 2 on how I lost over 100 pounds. So, episode 1, I basically just gave you guys a short version of the long story. And now I'm just going to be piecing it in from front to finish. Sometimes I'll probably jump in between. And so yeah, we're gonna go all the way back to the beginning, to when I actually put the weight on, why I put the weight on. So in episode 1, I talked about, briefly, mind you, episode 1 is very brief, but I had mentioned that I had went through something in high school as a sophomore. It was the end of my freshman year going into a sophomore. Basically, my parents went to jail. They went to prison, actually. And my younger brother and I actually got put into foster care. And we had to stay at this youth shelter. I guess like when kids get taken out of their homes, they get placed in these shelters because they don't have nowhere else to go, right? And we were in there for like 3 months, and literally all I did was just eat. Like I literally just cried, not in front of anybody else, you know, it was in private. But to make myself feel better, I just stuck to eating, comfort eating. Like as soon as the food was done, we'd all sit down together, we'd eat, and then there was always plenty enough food. They always made extra. So obviously I went back for seconds, I went back for thirds, until I was absolutely stuffed full. And I probably gained the most weight I've ever gained within those 3 months, right off the rip. And I could tell, you know, I could start to tell I was putting weight on, but honestly I didn't really care. You know, I just liked how, you know, that instant gratification feeling when I was just full, just felt right, felt good. But we got taken out of the shelter. They actually found a placement in our hometown, and they actually were discussing about pulling my brother and I apart and putting us in separate homes. And I was like, yeah, this is not gonna happen. So they found us not a replacement home, but like a temporary home, because actually my dad now was looking to foster us. Thank God. But we got placed in this old crazy lady's house. I think we were there for 3 or 4 weeks. That was just some scary prison type. It's just weird how the system works and who they let people. I guess anything looks good on paper, right? But even then, I think I ate pretty much, when I was at this lady's house, pretty much a balanced meal every day, except when I was at school. You know, I at school, I would just eat and go back for seconds. I would just eat as much as I could. I did not care, honestly. I just didn't care. But when I was at her house, when we ate at her house, it was pretty much balanced. Here's what really did it, and that's in the span of 4 months. When I got put into my dad's house, my brother and I got put in my dad's house. That's what really did it, because he was a youth pastor, and there was always, we lived right across the street from the church, so they was always cooking, doing potlucks. As a youth pastor and living right across the street from the church, all the kids would come over. They would cook, and there was just so much food, and just so the amount of food and the access I had to the food was just insane. I'm talking, they'd make big giant pots of spaghetti, and I would just go to town. There'd always be leftovers, pizza pockets, frozen pizzas, anything you could think of. I would just, anytime, dude, I was just eating the whole time. And I wasn't playing any sports. I literally just played video games the whole time and just ate and ate and ate and ate. And like within that year, within like going from like the end of my freshman year to the end of my sophomore year, dude, I know I put on like at least over 100 pounds easily. It was so much it was ridiculous, because my sophomore, I have a video, I have to find it, or I can just look for some photos of my sophomore year versus my the end of my like freshman year or middle of my freshman year to like the end of sophomore year. Like I look like two different people. It was so crazy how fat I got, dude. Just so fat. And you know, after the end of my sophomore year, I was approached by a coach in the hallway, and he was like, "You're a big boy." Coach Hilty. I remember Coach Hilty. He's like, "God dang!" in the middle of the hallway in front of everybody. "God dang! You're a big boy. You need to come play ball." I was like, "All right." He's like, "No, I'm serious. Meet me at the football field today, after your 6th hour." I was like, "What about 7th hour?" "Don't even worry about it." Okay. So I showed up, and that was just the beginning of my next chapter at that point. So stay tuned for episode 3, because we're going to be talking about getting into sports, looking for Coach Hilty out there. "Hey, Coach, what do I do? I'm here. I don't know what to do." So it just keeps getting interesting and interesting. So if you guys want to know more about the stories and details of how I lost 100 pounds and what I went through and eventually how it's changed my life, stay tuned. Episode 3 on the way.